Chat with Glendora, a show for living right. A chat with Glendora makes your day so bright. Words of inspiration, jokes to make you smile. Come relax and chat with Glendora for a while. Well, good morning, folks. This is May the 4th, Wednesday, and this is Hyacinth Day and Daffodil Day and Violets Day and Iris Day and Forsythia Day. Good morning, folks. How are you? I'm sorry about no tie because of the havoc yesterday. The tie is misplaced and Glennie's all alone. Oh no, Glendora, how can you say that? You're not all alone. Look at, we're all one. There's millions of us. What was the havoc yesterday? Well, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was getting, my work day was over. My work day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it ends at 5 in the afternoon, at which time Glennie gets washed up and cleaned up and goes to bed and plans and meditates and listens and thinks about the great things in this universe and about the blessings of the day and what blessings have to be done the next day. So Glennie was ready to do that. Gina left at 5 o'clock or so after doing good things, very good things. And it is Pat's Friendship Day, Tuesday from 4 to 6, and Saturday 4 to 6. And I can understand why she was saying. I couldn't understand why Madeline was here because Madeline doesn't like to be here. And then all of a sudden Sandy shows up and Sandy says to Carol, "What is your relationship to Glendora?" And Carol starts reading this acerbating or citing it speech, how she has to have time with her family. Well, she's always had time with her family. She doesn't even ask what time is convenient for the enterprise. She just goes. Walks out, well, when are you coming back? I don't know. She never tells you when she's coming back. And so she starts all that. Glennie puts her hands up to her ears because she doesn't want to hear all this. She's heard it all before. And then I unplug my ears after a few minutes and she's still going on about the same thing, I guess. So Glennie gets up and takes her walker and walks to the bathroom and does her ablutions for the night and walks back to the sanctuary, and Madeline is blocking Glennie's way. They don't understand. You can't see. The only thing you have is your hands, and when they put their coat on one of your clues, you know, where you have your path all marked out by your hands, and if they cover up the clue, then they've thrown you off, and you've lost your orientation. So Madeline starts telling Glennie what to do, and Glennie doesn't need to be told what to do. Glennie knows where she's going. Just don't block the pathway. Finally, she gets to the sanctuary, and she starts undressing and dressing and putting the Bactine, not Bactine, what is it? Bactracin. And she's getting ready.
The time is 8 o'clock a.m. The temperature is 78.9
Well, hi there, little clock.
Fahrenheit. The time is 8 o'clock
And she's trying to get into her long underwear or out of her long underwear and putting on the socks and putting on the diaper and putting on the pad, getting ready for the night. And that stops them all from whatever they're talking about. They're saying they're trying to help Glennie, and Glennie did it all by herself, and she's capable of doing it all by herself. And then they start again, and Glendora says to Carol, I want you out of here. I wanted her out of here for a long time. She depresses. She thinks Glennie is a 2-year-old. When Glennie gets up to move the Enterprise forward, she says, what are you doing that for? And why are you calling this person? And then you ask her to do something, and every time she says, well, wait a minute, I'm doing something else. And she goes into temper tantrums and screams and hollers. And a whole bunch of stuff like that. So for a long time, Glennie has wanted, and by the way, there is a video record of all this.
8 o'clock a.m.
Thank you, sweetie. There is a video record of all this, of her doing that numerous times. She doesn't keep the house clean. She's not a good housekeeper. She's a terrible cook. But she's very good on the trust. And she's very good on Consumer Direct, the people who hire Glennie helpers. And Glennie has always made it very certain, say hello to Carol, say goodbye to Carol. Glennie has given Carol 100 friends or more, clear across the country. And Glennie has very, very good friends. So that's how Glennie's enhanced Carol's life. She never encourages Glennie, never says anything good to her. Glennie tries to encourage her again and again. Glennie's given many, many presents to her grandchildren and to her son. So anyway, I'm fed up with this. This has been going on since, well, she came September 12th. And these bad features of bad character flaws started maybe a couple of months after, 2 months. And they've been going on for what, 8 months? And it's too bad because the way I began to handle them, instead of screaming back at her, the way I was beginning to handle them was not to talk to her when she did these things that were so acerbating. Not to say anything, just to go on with the work. And I'd had 5 days of that up until yesterday, May 3rd. And so when I was trying to get into bed and I was constantly being impeded and going into my own bed at my own bedtime, I said, Carol, I want you out of here. And I want you out of here tonight. And then Sandy, who was very imperial and is running this whole show. And did they tell me they were going to have a meeting? No. No, I never heard anything about any meeting. And so Sandy starts, after I tell Carol I want her out of here, and then she starts impeding that, and I said, then I'm going to call the police. Hand me my phone. She hands me my phone, and somebody says, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how you treat others. And of course, I'm brokenhearted about this. And so I can't dial the phone. I'd have to be over here to use this phone. And so I just gave up, gave the phone back, and I went to bed and it's covered up my ears. And then Sandy says, all right, we're going outside to talk a while, but we will return. So I go to bed and I start doing my meditations and planning, thanking God for the day and thanking all others for the day and finding out what to do tomorrow. And I'm very uneasy, but I think that they're gone. Somebody comes back and knocks on the door 5 or 6 times. I will not get up and answer that door. And then the harassment call, I couldn't hear it, but it was on the phone over here, the cordless phone on the answering machine. I couldn't hear it. And then there's more knocking. And then I get up and I go to my door and I put on the bottom lock, the regular lock, the one that you can take a credit card with and slide it between the door jamb and the door frame and open the door. What good is that kind of a lock anymore? And then I put on the bolt, the deadbolt, and then I put on the chain lock. Now I think I'm going to have a night's sleep and a good meditation. And Sandy walks in, gets my door all unlocked, and walks in and says, I forgot my phone in my purse. And she had the owner of the property somehow or other come and unlock the door. I say nothing. She goes out. I go back to trying to do the meditation and having a good night's sleep and planning tomorrow. And then I get up and I lock the door again. And I thought I locked it. The one that's no good, the deadbolt, and the chain lock. And I come back into my house and I hear something. I hear something moving. Do I see it? No, but I hear it. I said, is there anybody here? And Carol shows up. She walked in too, sua sponte, uninvited, and after being told to get out. So I tell her again, get out of here. Get out. And she gives me an argument. And now, since I can't get over the phone, I pick up my medical alert and I call medical alert and I tell them there is somebody in my house. I don't want that person in my house, and will you call the police? And medical alert is very cooperative and very helpful, and they start calling the police. And they say, we're going to stay on the line to see. And I said to Carol, you got 10 minutes to get out. Oh, well, I got to put on my shoes. Oh, you can't do this because this is for the same thing she's been doing that is so acerbating. And then everything is very quiet. She says something. That was at 8:58. And at I'm waiting for the 10 minutes before I call the police. Everything goes quiet. And at 8 after 9, I call the police. I don't hear anything from her. And I didn't know that she had left. So I call medical alert. Please call the police, and medical alert says in 2-3 minutes they said they are on the way. And I wait until the police come around 9:20. And I said, there's a person in here I don't want in here. I want that person out of my home. And he said it was very hot in here, and I have to have that, of course. And then I explained to him about the blindness, and I asked him to show me where the stove is, because that's my part of my path that I feel along the way. And he got to my stove, and I was able to get to the bed and able to get to the sanctuary and sit down. He turns out to be Trooper Lansing. He says I'm a big guy. He says I'm 6'2". I'm 268 pounds. And I said, are you? By the way, he's New York State Police. And I said, do you know my dear trooper friend, Trooper Bailey? Oh, they've been friends for a long time. And now Trooper Bailey is a sergeant. And Trooper Bailey turns out to be Sergeant Bailey turns out to be Trooper Lansing's boss. And he told me about the terrible thing that's happening in Supreme Court about abortions. And he looks all around, and he can't find Carol anywhere. He looks under the beds, he looks in the closet. I said, well, and then I figured it out. She left so quietly, I didn't hear her leave. She had gone before I even called the police. If she'd handled it correctly and made an exit that was discernible to Glennie, I wouldn't have had to call the police. So I said, you better call Sandra, please. Would you go over to that phone, and you see those buttons that are on the right side of the receiver? The first one up, would you push that, an auto dial? And he says, Sandy. And I said, yeah. And he calls and he tells Sandy what happens. And then Sandy says, well, I better find out what happened to Carol. Then Trooper Lansing, I go to the door with him, using my walker, of course, and he says, now look, Glendora, he says, this one's locked, and this is a deadbolt. And I said, okay, and I can do the chain lock. He says, right. I said, thank you so much for coming. He really was a blessing to me, a comfort, after these other people were so mean. But I began to think, okay, Carol isn't here at last. At last she's out of here. She'll have to come for her things today. So I went to bed feeling maybe things were normal. This is Happy House 3. I love it. I love the sanctuary. I love every inch of it. And it was all three people absconded with it. My own home. And this is Franklin's Joy Day. This is when Franklin sends down so much money from heaven. And thank you, Pat, for going to the bank and taking care of that, putting it safely away. So I continue the meditation, and I got it all done, I think. Well, I got it all done, maybe 3. What's the meditation? 40 pure thoughts every hour of the day of being awake. Drilling on what Mary Baker Eddy says. Believe what is good and disbelieve what is bad. Drilling on that. and getting rid of selfishness and egotism and me first, and replacing it with goodness and helpfulness and helping others, and the allness of God, the goodness of God, the oneness of God, the wholeness of God, and how we're all together working for God, and how we lost sight of it yesterday. That's the drilling. And the third one is count the blessings of the day and what blessings have to be done the next day. And then 40 great things about God, a cell, and that the cell knows exactly what to do. And you can see the universe, and in one cell you can see the universe. Amazing joy. And so that lasts for a while. And then up as far as born alive and healthy, food, clothing, and a home, all of us, freedom and independence, no catastrophes. Maybe this is a catastrophe. Finances, education, TV career, all of our careers, all of our roads of creativity together. Your spouses, husband's job, and this is Franklin's Joy Day, remember. It comes once a month. And we're reading Franklin's poems right now, and he said 3 published as far as we've read up to page 35 or so forth. He said 3 published in the newspaper. And then I guess I drifted off to sleep and woke up at 2 a.m. and did the 5th meditation, which is the spin of the earth. 12 hours of hard work and 12 hours of sleep, meditation, and planning, although that was certainly truncated. And I decided to go to the bathroom and wash and be refreshed and come back to bed and do the heartbeat. Feel the pulse. Feel the heartbeat. Heartbeat. Have you stopped and rested since the last time we met? No. Can't you heartbeat? Don't you just sit down for 30 seconds, say, I've got to rest? No. How long have you been beating heartbeat? 94 years. How we love. How we extol you. How quiet you are. How unobtrusive you are. And heartbeat. You beat whether the hand is up here against gravity or you beat down here. Heartbeat. You brought us in. You're going to take us out. When you take us out, heartbeat, is it going to be fast and painless? Is it going to be slow and painful? Heartbeat. When are you going to take us out? In the year 2028 at 100 years old? You made it to May 1st, 2022 at 94 years old. Heartbeat, thank you for the great long life that you gave .com Cat. And then you begin to think about Happy House 3, how perfect it is inside and even outside. Up here and in the yard down there that goes right by the trolley trail, which is now the bicycle trail. And then the command of 1953, keep making TV shows, keep telling jokes, keep singing hymns, keep trying to push the goodness, and all of us together good. And then the finances, looking at those. And that's the end of the meditations. There's 7 of them. Did you go back to sleep? No. What time is it now? It's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. And more trying to memorize what has to be done in the day. It's so difficult not to have a pen and paper. On a pen and paper, you write it down, you can forget about it. But when it's up here, you have to keep saying it over and over again so you remember it. Exercise the body. Did you do that? Oh, yes. Yes, over in the sanctuary in bed and over here at the work desk. How many exercises do you do? They're calisthenics. How many do you do? 400 every day. And then get dressed. And that's where we left the tie, somewhere in this confusion. And that's it. Interesting. And it's good. Good will come of it. There's no question about it. Good will come of it. Remember the good, forget the bad. It's a new day. It's over with. Yesterday. Did you finish the work yesterday? Yes, all of it. The Holy Agenda. The Glendora Television, Public Access Network, Coast to Coast, Boston to San Francisco, Boston to San Jose. And thank you, Paul Matteau, for your loving and kind and sweet telephone call. Everybody in the world should be like you, Paul Matteau. Maybe I can follow you as a model. The Gary Black Network, the Robert Jackson Network, the Vicky Caresi Network, the Grady Hearn Network. They all got done? Yeah, they all got done. We called 5 more churches to ask if anybody in the congregation wanted a super job and that they would get a bonus. It's so hard for us to find people to work for us. And that they would get a bonus, $250 part-time, $500 full-time, 30 hours. And so that's the big job today and every day. And I have several people in mind to call who used to work here. What else? Gina found a new product. You know, I like to put Clorox or bleach in the bathroom sink to freshen it up all the way down. I like to put Clorox into the bathroom toilet to freshen it up all the way down. Well, she found something better than that. It's a pack, and it's a ball, and it has the bleach in it. So all you do is put water in the sink and drop the ball in there and leave it for a while, and then drain the water. It's so much easier than pouring it out of a bottle.